Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
So how do you find Armenia this time of the year?
It's every time different colors, always the same people. Even if we meet every time new amazing human beings. But this time there's snow and the colors are different. So I'm amazed by these new sensations.
What do you think about us? Are we developing?
Better and better. It was great from the very beginning, but of course at one point you stop focusing on how you have to say things. So formality is put aside because we know each other even on a different level, more personal, so we can be faster, more productive. And I do believe that we also able to have much more fun, which is for me it's kind of priority, you know.
For the people who will be watching us, could you please introduce yourself and tell more about your background, about how you come up to the hospitality sector?
Well, from the very beginning, so from my childhood, since we have a restaurant business, in Naples. Originally, I'm from Naples, so it's a family business, a mom and pop restaurant, nothing special, nothing fancy. But I started working since my young age, and I realized there was something that somehow had to be part of my life. I didn't realize from the very beginning how I was living life fully immersed in the hospitality, but I knew that it had to be part of my life. And I had to force myself and struggle. I struggled a lot with my family because they didn't want me involved, you know, in this industry. But I got my results. And I proved that it was not just a dream thing, but it was something that could be real, because from the very beginning I realized the high potential of this industry, not just because you know the money that you can earn from the very beginning, but because you open yourself to so many different opportunities, networking and traveling. At the beginning, of course, domestically, and then you start traveling all over the world, and then this is something that exposes you to so many different opportunities, as I said. And at one point, I decided to consolidate myself in this industry, and here I am. In terms of background, I studied hospitality at school, high school level, hotellerie school, which is called Alberghiero, Scuola Alberghiero in Italy, and then science of tourism, so economics as my degree, and then I got my master in wine business and marketing, and then as professionally wise, I spent a lot of my career working for a Michelin-trained restaurant. My probably most important experience was working for Four Seasons. I worked there for almost 9 years.
Was there a kind of moment or a person in your career that shaped you as a hospitality professional?
Many, I will say. And the most beautiful aspect about it is the fact that each one of them was very important in that specific period of my life, and the same person in a different period won't be impacting at the same level, and I can explain why. For example, my first mentor at the high school, third year high school, he gave me the level of trust that allowed me studying, working in the industry, and nobody believe in me in that moment, not because I was good enough, but simply because, let's say, I was not on the right path, on the motivational pattern, and he believed in me very much. So he was kind of able to force me in believing in me, and he had a very revolutionary and disruptive impact. Then another person, his name is Carmine Renzulli. He also taught me a lot in like a Michelin level environments, in like being confident, like all the technicalities about like the Michelin. So I could like keep you mentioning names like for hours, but anywhere you need like anywhere you go, you need like a mentor. You need someone that actually protect you and teach you on like a different level. So it's very important in hospitality.
Can you say a few words about your experience in the Michelin restaurant?
As I always say to our students, to my students, working at like in fine dining restaurants, because not necessarily like fine dining restaurants are related to a Michelin. It's very hard, it's very tough, it's very challenging, it's very like time consuming, no social life, but it's a kind of natural and required process and step if you want to like improve yourself a lot, because you work every day under pressure, you work every day like applying, you have to apply standards, procedures, you need to work together with like a team, and all the team has to share like the same values and the same vision, the same everything. One of the most beautiful experience I had was like in London, working for Waterside in restaurant, 3 Michelin star restaurant. It was a very tough experience because I was Italian, working in a French restaurant, one of the most renowned French restaurant in the world, and the level there was high level, high expectations, and so pressure was like high, and so I had the possibility to challenge myself a lot.
If we talk about the exciting parts about working in such a place, could you name famous people, outstanding people that you managed to see there and help them around? Well,
Four Seasons for sure allow me to get in contact with a lot of like VIP celebrities. So celebrities is like a sub-segment of a larger VIP category, because of course working for Four Seasons you have the chance to meet celebrities, but you also have the chance to meet like a CFO, a CEO of like whatever company. So it's like acquiring a knowledge from them on a daily basis. I remember this day, so it was one of my first experience at Four Seasons working for like the in-room dining department. And so at the beginning you work together with like your trainer. So together with her I started like learning and going to different like rooms like for the service. At one point they asked me to do by myself like this room service, and I didn't know that the guest I was about to serve was like Hugh Jackman. And he was registered as a false, like as a private name, like probably his wife's name. So technically, you shouldn't like address them in like their real name if they don't want to do that. So he opened the door, and I saw him, and he was kind of like, I call him like Mr. Wolverine. I don't know why, because I remember like his main character at the time. He was like a X-Men character, like Wolverine, and so it was like not like the right approach, but it was you know, very emotional for me. And then I can tell you so many other names, but you know, probably for privacy reasons I'm not allowed to anyway, but yes, that's one of the opportunities that you have when you work in like top level hospitality industry, which is like considerably different than whatever like other industry you might get into. And for example, working, I remember well, working for the Waterside restaurant in out of London. Actually was Bray, this little village out of London, Maidenhead, actually a little town out of London. We were one of the few restaurants allowed to serve the royal family, so it was kind of a normal to receive these kind of visits, like Saturday lunch, especially Saturday lunch moments where the royal family like larger parties, smaller parties. Anyway, they liked that restaurant very much. Of course, we were not entitled to approach the queen or like whoever member of the family, but we had the chance to get close like enough, at least to understand how those how that environment works. Then I remember this in Florence, one of my most beautiful experience. This Hollywood producer, they took the entire place like for almost like a week, and it was a huge party with a lot of Hollywood celebrities, singers. Like I remember at the time, Jay-Z, Beyonce. Jay-Z, if I remember, he was the best man, and so it was like lovely, challenging, and it was a lot about the pressure. You know, that's something that I remember very well, like working under pressure all the time.
You have worked in different countries, in different environments, in different projects. What is the difference between, for instance, Italian or other culture of hospitality compared to the Armenian culture of hospitality? What you can observe from now?
Well, hospitality is fundamentally connected to each specific country culture, inevitably. And of course, one of the most beautiful aspect about the hospitality is the fact that you have the possibility to travel, to get in contact with a new culture, and getting in contact with a new culture, you also experience a different level and approach in terms of hospitality. This is something that I wouldn't like to standardize, and unfortunately, sometimes it's kind of contemporary approach, the idea of standardizing, you know, the processes, which is fine when it comes to keeping the level high. But anyway, you need to understand that different approaches are required when you want to keep hospitality touch as authentic as possible. I worked in several continents, and in each specific culture you have beautiful elements. Of course, Italian hospitality is renewed all over the world because we are able to adapt and be flexible and create a different and memorable experience around the guest according to his own specific needs. So, but for example, in Asia, you have different requirements. So this idea of shaping memorable experience is pretty much about reliability and high standards of service, less engaging and more professional. Armenians are very good when it comes to simple but yeah, high quality approach. They do care about the guest. There's the next step required, which is about turning this beautiful attitude into something that can be perceived as a profession. They can give you a lot of opportunities, as we said. But I do believe that everything required in the for top level hospitality is still part of the DNA.
Sometimes we use different words for the same experience: service or hospitality. What's the difference?
The difference in terms of words and so meanings of the words are pretty much similar, and in fact they are used interchangeably. But the core meaning of them is pretty much different. What I'm trying to say, service is pretty much about the transactions, so question answer, so where all the technicalities are involved, so standards and procedures, and of course it represents the 50% of it. But then there is the second component, which is the second 50%, which is about the soft skills, being empathetic, being careness, high contact, smile, good impressions, good attitudes, be attentive, be responsive. This is something that unfortunately is underestimated, and quite let me say the evoluted service or like a culture when it comes to hospitality, they do price hospitality more than service. In general, when level of hospitality are quite like medium to low, you see that the service is the most like important thing more than the hospitality. So there's a huge challenge in terms of like emphasizing, you know, the importance of hospitality more than service.
What we can see is that some cultures are much better at hospitality than the other cultures, or some countries than other countries. Why do you think this happens, and which countries, in your opinion, are the most hospitable in terms of hospitality approach?
Well, I do believe that somehow there are certain cultures that are more able to emphasize and give a better value to hospitality, because somehow they know how to be creative and they don't perceive hospitality as something to be ashamed of, you know. Other cultures, they perceive hospitality as kind of secondary option, something that at the end of the day is not so good. And of course, at the end of the day, this makes like a huge difference. This said, every single culture in a different way, as we said, they can deal with hospitality in different ways. So you don't have like one culture which is like able to deliver special treatments or able to perceive hospitality in a better way or deliver hospitality in a better way. It's just a matter of how you apply those values in the real world. So how you practice those values. That's it. But everybody is able to, believing in it in the right way, are able to deliver the same results no matter what.
Where is the hospitality culture or sector moving globally? Towards more standardization or towards more and better human approach?
Well, definitely new technologies and the AI will shape in a different way the hospitality approach all over the world, no matter what type of sub-segments we might consider. So there are a lot of new challenges in front of us, but it's also true that hospitality will be always about this human contact. So one day we will probably have robots taking care of the operations, but I'm sure that everybody will much better to have a conversation with real human beings more than a robot. They will agree on every single of your request. So globally, the challenge is about being able to work hardly, understanding that, of course, hospitality allows you to have a lot of opportunities, but it's also true that absorb a lot of your time, you know, and it takes something from your life in terms of social relationships, for example. Okay, so the more we increase the our level of life in terms of quality, the less we able to approach the sacrifices required by the hospitality. So once we are able to go back to the original point where hospitality and sacrifice, working hard in this industry was a beautiful thing to do, the more we'll be able to jump back in this industry with a new spirit.
Nowadays, people say that customers, visitors have very high expectations. What should I, as a guest, a customer, expect from hospitality, and where's the limit?
It's absolutely true that it's an industry that is growing a lot in terms of demand for quality. But it's also true that it's something that we can extend as a reflection to whatever other industry. So when you buy a car now, you want a better car with a better engine, with a better everything. So of course, guests, clients, they know much better what they want in terms of food, in terms of service, in terms of environment, vibes. So I will I will turn this thing into like an excuse in order to reduce our expectations. It's something that it always be in like this, and there is nothing that we can do about it. Okay, so we need to learn how to deal with it, and we know how to better understand the way to match these expectations. They will change, and as they change, we will change with them, as we always have done. So there is like a better idea of quality among the clients nowadays, and then we need to understand, for example, how we can potentially satisfy the demand. If it's true that people, they stop caring exclusively about the food, they want like experience now, we need to understand how restaurant needs to be shaped in those places where experiences are together with the food, of course, and service and hospitality, possible.
What is totally unacceptable for a customer to do or to behave from the hospitality management perspective?
Well, we have a saying in Italy, il cliente ha sempre ragione. So client is always right, which is, it's kind of absolutely true statement, especially when it comes to hospitality, because if it's true that our mission is to satisfy and create a guest and create memorable experience, every time they are not satisfied, it's kind of somehow we lose something, so there is always a way, a different alternative way, the key to get into them and to help them in the way they like. Being disrespectful, being discriminating, that's something that cannot be accepted anymore, because if it's true that this word service is such a beautiful word, especially when it comes to helping people in creating a memorable experience for them. It's also true that serving people is not being a slave or being at the service of people, which is something quite different, and it's probably exclusively rooted in the past, but in a very contemporary and modern approach. Service is helping them more than being someone like a slave.
If we talk about memorable experience, when does it begin?
From the very beginning, from the moment you walk in a restaurant, the vibes and the energy and the very first eye contact that you have, that might create some expectation. Okay, we know that in 15 seconds more or less we get the first impression, and that first impression will be the lasting expression, impression that we might have about a place or a person. So in that specific moment we need to do all our best in order to at least pretend, to be able to satisfy, our guest expectation. So, and it's a kind of process. It's a kind of, it's like when you watch a movie. If the first part of the movie is beautiful, but all the rest is not that appealing and beautiful, at least as you expected, you will never say that that movie is the one that you will like the most. So from the very beginning to the very end, you need to show the same level of careness, of attention, of presence, and probably presence is the most important keyword, because we stop being present to ourselves, but also to people. You need to be with your mind and with your energy and with your soul in doing something that most of the time can be also repetitive. So you do always the same operations, but you need to make sure that those operations are addressed differently according to the different expectations and different guests that you might have in front of you.
Is there any hospitality practice or rule that should be changed or eliminated in your experience?
Well, pretending to apply no matter what, the same standards all the time, which is very a classic approach. Fortunately, this approach is kind of disappearing nowadays. because people, they, as we say to our students most of the time, people, guests in general, they stop like believing that technicalities are the right way, you know, to perceive the service as a high standard like service, but it's more about the emotions that you are able to create and to shape around them. Of course, technicalities are still very important, you know, when they ask food like cooked in a certain way, or when they require a cocktail prepared in a certain manner, you have to do in the way they like, okay, and in the way it's supposed to be. Everybody expects, for example, to receive like a dish plated and presented in a certain way, and that thing will never change, okay? But now people is not so crazy and in love with technicalism, but they're more like in love with how you treat them and what kind of emotions they bring home so with them.
So once you said that the military service should be banned and instead everyone should work as a waiter for 2 years, why?
I mean, in this case, I was the one that tried to provoke at least a kind of reflection about the topic. I have nothing against like military and soldiers in general, but I'm just trying to provoke in a way that is able to start a kind of conversation around this topic. So the thing is, if it's true that like during the military service you learn how to be I would say also like a better person, because you are required to be independent, reliable. You understand the law, the rules, and how to behave as a little piece of a greater organization. Also during like the hospitality service, that's the name that I would like to use. You learn how to work in a team, how to read the table, how to read the guests, how to be a better person that is able to help people in experiencing these memorable moments. So being able to, in the same time, you need to be able to be a ghost, but also to be present and help them in, for example, celebrating an anniversary. You know, so you are required to talk, but at one point you don't need to be there, you need to disappear, okay? So being constantly receiving this type of inputs all the time and be able to produce your outputs, it's an amazing training. They allow you to be much more present and much more able to help other human beings. And I do believe that this is something that we should be able to address better nowadays.
About Armenia, from what you have already seen and experienced, what is the best thing about Armenian hospitality?
I do like the intimate level of service and hospitality in Armenia. So I see I saw and I see a huge difference in terms of hospitality. So when you are invited, for example, to someone house, you see they treat you as a king. They show a passion, love, careness, you know. But then when you go to a restaurant, you see that they treat you in a way it's more like a transactional way. So they don't have the same level of passion and careness you expect, you know, and it's kind of impressive thing, because I've been touched by I would say domestic hospitality quality, and then you don't see a matching a correspondence when it comes to a restaurant. And I'm sure that these emotions, these characteristics are no matter what they are they're present, but the perception people have about restaurant and the hospitality, that has to be changed, you know, because overall it's very good.
Can we consider it as the most challenging aspect about Armenian hospitality?
It's absolutely one of the most like challenging aspects because it's not about like the technical level, but it's something that has to be changed in the people mindset. They need to understand, they need to see, they need to explore like new patterns, like they need to match international standards in a way they can understand and fully like accomplish this huge potential they have, you know, because at this moment they have like a huge potential. Fortunately, like younger generation, they understood that hospitality can be like an amazing opportunity. But it's also true that like older generation, they are still like kind of overthinking about this like a possibility. So I'm sure that it's a kind of natural process that will come with the time.
If someone wants to start his or her career in hospitality, should they know that there is a kind of glass ceiling for development and growth in this sector, or it's?
No, well, in terms of there are no limits. It's all about opportunities, and no matter what kind of background you might have, or like the family you are originally like from, it's absolutely your own adventure that can be like shaped in the way you like the most. Of course, you need to open up yourself to the world, like pretending to be internationally like oriented and able to explore whatever like a new opportunity can be presented to you. But in general, I don't believe that there are like limits or like, but it's all about opportunities.
When you create a wine pairing, what story are you trying to tell within this meal experience?
Going back to 10 questions ago, the idea of describing the wine in a way that is about technicalism, it's very like old style, and it's like rooted in the past, and it's something that does allow us getting in contact with our guests, because they don't know about the wine, and sometimes they pretend to know about the wine. It's not their comfort zone, and they don't want to like being pulled out from their comfort zone. So the way you describe the wine, of course, is very important. So the wine pairing is very important, but it's also, and probably it's the most important aspect, you need to talk to them about wine in a very professional way, but in a way they can understand on a very like empathetic and emotional level. So if you say just a few words about the wine, sometimes even obvious wines, but you spend much more time in describing the wine on a very like emotional level, telling them the story of the producer, telling them when you went there to visit the place, and understanding if they want to hear from you that story, because sometimes it's I don't know, for example, an anniversary, and so they are into their like own conversation. They don't want to have you like describing every single wine, like getting a lot of their time. So you need to understand the moment, you need to read the table, but once you understand they want to hear that story from you, that has to be like your moment. So short time, you need to condensate all the emotions. And definitely when you start describing the tannins, the chemical like composition of the wine, you just lose them. Nobody cares about like the tannins or like the acidity level or the pH of the wine, you know. It's a very boring thing.
Is there such a thing as perfect wine pairing?
It's like a perfect marriage. It doesn't exist. So it's always a compromise, you know. So there are amazing compromises.
A few examples?
You know? Well, of course, scientifically there are certain like wine pairings that work very well, because the overall like components, like for example, Parmesan cheese with certain types of wines, or like in general like meat, and red wines because the structure of the meat, the structure of the wine, then meat most of the time is very chewy, like red meat, and the red wine contains tannins. So chewy means that you need to chew, you need to bite like the meat a lot. So in doing this, you will produce like a back part of your palate like saliva, and you need to dry out that saliva with the tannins from the red wine. So that is kind of
Science.
Logic explanation, it's science, okay? But of course, it's very like personal. You might have like guests, they don't like, I don't know, bold red wines, for example. So you need to find a way to satisfy them, which is like on a very like personal level, yes.
If you had a chance to write your own hospitality golden rule, what would that be?
I'm not that creative, and anyway, I do believe in one that's been taught to me when I spent all those beautiful years working for Four Seasons, which is like the golden rule of Four Seasons, which is very simple but very effective. And that company is able to respect and let the employees like experience, you know, and completely like embrace the golden rule, which is treat everybody like in the way you want to be treated by them. It's very simple, okay? So I'm sure that if you spend time in a restaurant or like if you check in a whatever hotel, you want to be treated like the guest. So if you do that every single time you interact with your guest, it's like a win-win situation, and anyway, by the karma, by the energies, by the emotion, you will be prized, and your like job and your hard work will be 100% recognized. You know, because hospitality is all about taking care of people on a very like emotional level. So if you fulfill that thing, everybody will love you very much.
Is there anything that you would like to do in Armenia during your next visit? There's something that you haven't covered yet.
Well, there are so many things that I would like to do, but I'm sure that I will have time to do them. This statement for an Italian, it's quite, you know that we are very scaramantic, you know. So, but I would like to explore every single like corner of Armenia. There are like a lot of different towns and like cities that I didn't have like the chance to visit. So definitely I would like to get a lot into the wine realities here. So I would like to explore wineries a lot, and I would like to have the chance to fully understand, you know, Armenia on this like wine, but also like hospitality level. This is something very important, and I do believe that 1 year and a half is not enough, you know, to fully understand like a culture, especially when it comes to Armenia, which is like a millennial culture.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katya.